Hello everybody, my name is Marlo and welcome back to some more hardcore Minecraft, where in the last episode we built this rather large sugarcane farm, which works great from a functional standpoint, but from a look standpoint, it's something to be desired. We definitely need to make this look a little prettier, which is why today we are going to be covering it up with a rather epic looking build. And I'm guessing it's in the title and thumbnail of this video, so no real surprises as to what it exactly is, but it does require a whole lot of Deepslate, which is why in between episodes I did so much mining of Deepslate. And of course you cannot instant mine Deepslate even if you have a haste beacon, it doesn't work. So I did all of that digging down here at the bottom of my mines. I think is it here? Yeah, where I've virtually made a cave. So all of the open space that you can see me walking through here was filled with Deepslate. So yeah, if that time lapse... Oh, hello creeper, I thought I heard something there, that was scary. We're all good. So if that time lapse wasn't enough to get the size of scale as to how much digging I've actually done here, hopefully this is. So yeah, managed to get myself 2 whole double chests of Deepslate for today's build. So before we start placing down any blocks, I'm going to go through and organize all of my cobbled Deepslates here into the different variants. Tiled, polished, and then the stone brick. Deepslate bricks, is that what they're called? I'm honestly not sure. Deepslate bricks, yeah, so those 3 are the main ones that we're going to be using. And hopefully I should have enough, I'm pretty sure I do. But that way I can just be nice and organized for when I start the build. Actually, before we start any of that, I think I'm finally going to deal with my zombie problem that I have here in my storage room. I've seen you guys mention it down in the comments a couple of times. There are just zombie noises all the time when I'm in here, and I think it's because I didn't do a great job of lighting up the area that is kind of around my storage room here. So I'm guessing a bunch of zombies and other mobs are able to spawn back there, and they're just constantly making tons and tons of noise. I gotta go careful here, because if it's a creeper, then that is bad news. We don't want one of them falling on our head and blowing up the storage. Oh, I did light all of this up. Well, where are the zombie noises coming from then? There must be a cave nearby. I am gonna have to sort this though, because it's driving me a little bit insane. Aha! I think I have found the culprits. Yep, there are, oh my goodness, so many mobs in there. Some of which will probably kill me if I'm not careful. I know I'm in full netherite, but I still would rather be careful, especially when those guys are around. Holy moly. Okay, yeah, some of them have picked up blocks, as you can see, so they are just staying around forever. There's endermen in here that I gotta go careful not to look at. Oh my, it's endless. They just keep on coming. Holy moly, they are just not stopping. How many are in here? Let's get a torch in the offhand so you guys can actually see something. If you could just fight amongst yourself, that would be fantastic. Save me a lot of time. Right, skeleton, there you go. You dealt with a lot of them nicely. Great job. What's down here? We just got a measly creeper. Let's not let you blow me up after I've just called you measly. That would be some way for the series to end. Okay, yeah, well, I'm guessing that was what was causing all of the noise. Problem solved. Maybe not. There's still noises. I'm guessing the cave goes on for a little bit. When I say I had just enough cobbled Deepslate to craft all of these blocks, I truly mean it. I have 20 or 30 of these blocks remaining, so thankfully I didn't have to go and mine anymore. But yeah, we got all of our different variants crafted up here, ready to go for the build, as well as these miscellaneous items at the top. But yeah, without further ado, I'm going to grab some of these, head over to the sugarcane farm here, and start the building process. So here is my finished Deepslate castle, which looks so much bigger than I was expecting. Obviously, I already had this planned out in a separate test world, but seeing it here now in the hardcore world, I mean, it just looks massive in the best way possible too. So grand, so menacing and evil. I absolutely love how this thing looks. Now, does this build style really fit what's on the inside of this, which is just our simple sugarcane farm? We got a zombie on the inside. Hello, friend. You can stay in there for now. Okay, no, you can't. You can come here and burn. That works too. It doesn't match whatsoever with the sugarcane farm, and that's absolutely fine. I had no plans to make those two things correspond. I literally just wanted to cover it up somehow, which, considering you can pretty much only see it through those tiny little window holes at the bottom, I've done a pretty good job. But yeah, this is a rather evil looking building, and there's some fun things about this actually that may not be so obvious at first. One that is fairly obvious, most likely, at least I would hope so, is this face at the top of the towers. So obviously we've got an eye there, an eye here, and a mouth, and some like devil horns at the top. That was a bit of a happy accident. I just wanted to add in some Deepslate tiles, just change up the design a little bit, and I started building it. Ended up looking like some sort of Satan, I suppose, something like that. So yeah, we got one of them on all four sides of all four corner towers, and another fun little detail, which once again was just another happy accident. In the walls here we have some heart shapes, and you know, this is hardcore after all, kind of suits with the series. But this is really, you know, just to add a bit of depth in the wall. We got some stone or Deepslate. I want to call this stuff stone, and I don't know why. Deepslate tile walls there just to add an extra tiny bit of depth. And yeah, I had a real fun time designing this one. As you can imagine, took quite a long time. So another reason why it doesn't matter the surrounding building does not match with the sugarcane farm well, this is why. There are mobs spawning everywhere, and if I just have a careful look around, you can see I've got torches on all of what you think would just be the spawning spots. No, they can actually spawn inside of sugarcane, and I've got no easy way, at least I don't think so, of lighting this up without you know, having to destroy parts of the farm. Please don't notice me and blow up. You're fine where you are. So I'm honestly not going to do much with the interior here. I know that's not ideal because it's actually quite ugly, and there's a doorway, and I've added in corridors and all of this sort of stuff. But yeah, at least for today, I'm not going to bother with it. Maybe another episode I can figure out some way of lighting up so mobs can't spawn and fall into my farm like this. But I don't think they're hurting the rates or anything. The sugarcane still gets broken if they, you know, get pushed by the piston. Everything still seems to be working. But yeah, mobs are spawning like crazy in here, so the less I can come in here, the better for, you know, the survival of this series. I should also say, I actually almost died inside of there, which is another reason why I don't really want to go in there again. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording, and neither was Replay Mod. I had it set to pause when I was doing the lighting up at the inside, while I was doing the top bit just behind me. But basically, I got swarmed by like 4 Endermen. It was terrifying. I accidentally looked at all of them somehow. And long story short, they pinned me in a corner. I got down to 2 hearts. That's the closest I've come to death in this series so far. So of course, because I'm trying not to go on the inside of this castle, I am gonna have to move the storage for it, because currently it's there right next to the creeper, and I honestly would quite like to check how much sugarcane I managed to acquire throughout all of the building process. I did have to add in another chest because I could see one was getting full up, so we have all of that and some rotten flesh somehow. And all of that. Okay, oh man, we better set this up quickly because we're running out of room. But yeah, basically the plan is to take the items from the end of the water stream here up to the top of the castle, which I actually just can go out here and do a little pillar up action. Llama, mind out the way, don't let me fall on top of you. So if we just head up to the top here, you can see we kind of have like a mini castle on top. I wasn't really sure what to put up here, honestly, and I started looking at some reference images of like renders of castles from video games and that sort of thing, and they tend to have this sort of thing on top if it's not just completely open. Of course, I didn't want to leave mine completely open, otherwise we would have just seen, you know, the sugarcane farm below, which wouldn't have been ideal. But yeah, this is going to become the storage room. But before we sort any of that out, I have a couple of things to do over here at the crystal cavity. And the first one is to name our iron golem here, which is what I asked you guys to do in the last episode. And I saw maybe 3 or 4 people suggest the same name, so it was like the most popular choice, and I quite like it. And that is Tony. And I think most of you guys who suggested this were kind of referencing Iron Man, Tony Stark, right? But regardless, I think Tony is just a great name for this guy. So in the last episode, we managed to lose our 2 stonecutters here. They turned into zombie villagers twice. The second time, they just disappeared. So I had some suggestions from you guys as to what might have happened, and the one that I thought was the best was from a good friend Para, who suggested to check the replay mod footage of whilst I was building the sugarcane farm to see if anything had happened, and I checked it, and well, I think the best thing to do is to just head over there and show you what happened. So here we are in replay mod for some behind the scenes footage, if you will, and as you can see, the villagers here have already been zombified. I do not really know what caused this. We'll get onto it in a second though. But yeah, they're already zombified, and I'm over that way a little bit building the sugarcane farm. And if we just fast forward time here, you're going to see them glitch in and out of existence just because I go too far away to load them in. And this happens a couple of times, but eventually, hopefully you'll see in a second, only one of them is spawned back. So I don't know what happened. You may have noticed the iron golem in the background was awfully close at the time of that, so maybe he had something to do with it. But yeah, all I've seen is my villagers disappear because they haven't been loaded in, and one of them just hasn't returned. So he must be lost in another dimension somewhere, never to be seen again. And I'm guessing this guy, he actually stays for the rest of this whole clip. So I do not have any, you know, video of what happened to this guy, but I'm guessing this one is the culprit. And as for how they became zombies, I saw quite a few of you mention that they must have been able to jump through this window. And yes, they do definitely fit through that window if they could get up to it. But there's no way, because obviously mobs can't jump in Minecraft unless you want to count spiders, I think. Baby zombies can't do that. So I'm not sure how they would have gotten up to here, but if they did, yeah, they could have got through. So just to avoid that potentially happening again, I'm just going to make this a flat wall, or flattish. It doesn't look quite as good, but that way I can be sure nothing is getting in. What I'm honestly thinking is they managed to bite them through these trapdoors here, so I should maybe get some full blocks. If I could just nab some from back here, that would be great. I'll fill the rest in with dirt so we don't get anything spawning there, but if I just cover that up like so, one more here, and here, that should make things a little bit safer. So I haven't really done a whole lot of solving of the crime. I still am very, very unsure as to what happened, but I thought I'd just let you guys know because, yeah, I saw a lot of people mentioning those things down in the comments. But my presumption, and the long story short of it, is I think zombies bit them through the trapdoors, and Tony over there hit them through the trapdoors. So as long as we can eradicate the first one, then Tony should behave himself. Come to think of it, I could actually move these trapdoors back by a block and put an actual door in front of it. That way we wouldn't have to worry at all. But I'm a bit lazy right now and I can't really be bothered to do that. It's not as simple of a task as you may think, because these guys will try and run out as soon as I break these things. So yeah, I'll return to it and do it in another stage, but for right now, I'm just gonna hope that doesn't happen. Anyway, let's head back to the Deepslate castle so we can do a bit more work. The first one is of course going to be setting up our storage room, because by this point I'm guessing those chests have gotten pretty full, nearing capacity I would imagine. So the gist of it is, and I know I kind of explained it earlier, but let's go a little bit more in depth here, bearing in mind nothing is right in front of us. I think we're good. See, that's what I'm talking about. But yep, okay, I'm moving. I'm opening my shooty windows here. Be gone, creeper. You are not going to get me like that. This is why I'm not going inside of here. But yeah, you just saw. They just get pushed. Sugarcane is absolutely fine. So very carefully, of course, while I'm doing this, I am going to put a auto dropper clicker, which is what some of these items are going to make. Pretty much any time an item goes in the dropper, aka sugarcane, they will get instantly dispensed out into a water stream, which is then going to go up through the middle of the farm here and then be taken along horizontally until we get to roughly the center of the castle, where we can then have another bubble column taking it up to the top mini castle, and then I'll just put it in some sort of sorter with hoppers and chests, that sort of thing. It was not exactly that clean to set up, but we've got it done in the end. I don't think we're losing any sugarcane, and it's all flowing up nicely to the top, which currently I am accessing on this staircase, which doesn't really look great. I don't think we should keep this here forever. So I'm thinking maybe next episode, or possibly the one after, we're going to have to fight the dragon and go get ourselves an elytra. I think it's about time. But yeah, you can still hear the farm working away, and all the sugarcane. Hopefully we'll be able to see one. Yep, there it goes. If I turn hitbox on, you can see it a little bit better, but it flows up and goes into all of our storage here, which is probably overkill, but I mean, we have got quite a lot just from building this castle, and I'm, you know, going to be loading this thing pretty much all the time, so maybe it's not actually overkill. It's not the prettiest storage room, I know. I just wanted it, you know, symmetrical down the center. Ideally, I'd like to have some chests kind of lined up at the back here with the hoppers behind it, but that was too much for my redstone capabilities, so we just got hopper line going right down the center. So the castle looks great as long as you don't look in through that entrance there. So all in all, I am pretty happy with this build as far as the main structure is concerned. Something I'm not particularly enthralled at is the area surrounding it, because we just have the castle to the terrain. There's no sort of transition, and it doesn't really match, and it just makes it stand out far too much. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get to it today because, yeah, this has taken up quite a lot of my recording time that I would usually spend on a given episode each week. So this will be something we do next time. But I'm thinking if we perhaps try and transition our way out with the blocks, maybe going from obviously the Deepslate tiles to maybe just normal Deepslate, then to tough, to cobblestone, then andesite and stone, something like that, for example. If that doesn't work, then maybe we could just sort of surround the edge with some Deepslate. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do just yet, but I would just like to mention it is definitely on the to-do list, just not the to-do list for today's episode. And of course, your ideas are very welcome. If you've got something in mind that we could do to surround the castle and make the terrain look better, please feel free to put it down in the comments below. So this, everybody, is where we're going to have to call it for today's episode. The length may be a little bit shorter than usual, and if that is the case, then I apologize. But yeah, this is all I've got time for today, so I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you liked the build. Of course, feedback is welcome. Thank you in advance, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.